Hey everybody, how's it going? The Johnny Cage here, today bringing you a brand new LP. We're going to be playing Lufia 2, Rise of the Sinestrals for the Super Nintendo. As you may have noticed in the beginning, this game was made by Natsume, who also did the Harvest Moon games more recently. They've been doing those for a number of years. I have the Game Boy version of Harvest Moon, a really fun, addictive game. You guys are probably much more familiar with that than any of their other titles. They also do the Rune Factory games, which I have not played, but I've heard are pretty similar to Harvest Moon as well. So here's our intro, a little bit of a backstory. I'm going to try to read the majority of the dialogue. I tried not to speed it up so fast that you guys couldn't read it, so hopefully it's fine. I'm definitely going to work on that in the future. But a little bit more about this game. It's actually really a rare game. It goes for about $60 for just the cartridge alone online right now, which I was really kind of surprised to see. I mean, that's even more than Super Mario RPG goes for. But the reason for that has to do with the fact that it was released in August of 1996, which was just 1 month before the N64 came out. And it's funny when you try to think back and you try to think of why you have some of the games that you own, especially for older systems. You're like, why? What appealed to me about this, you know? And this game, the only thing that I can really remember about the appeal was just the fact that I wanted a new game. Because my brother and I did not get an N64 at launch. We did not get an N64 until GoldenEye came out. Which seemed to be the case with a lot of people, but then again, a lot of people bought the N64 obviously because of just how awesome it is. I remember getting a videotape from Nintendo Power a few months prior to the N64 being released, and it had a video on Pilot Wings, Super Mario 64, and Shadows of the Empire on it, showing off how awesome it was. I wish I still had it. I don't think it got it anymore, but it's on VHS anyway, so I wouldn't really be able to show you all too well, but it's just hilarious. I'll just see if maybe I can find it on YouTube because it's funny. So here's the title screen. Something else I should mention is that this appears to be a sequel, but it's not. It's a prequel. In fact, if you play the original Lufia, which came out on the Super Nintendo a couple years prior, it actually starts off with the end boss to this game. So it's kind of a little bit of a spoiler. Not much, but a little bit. So, I don't know. They must have just been really sure that they were going to make a sequel, or another game at least. This game's also been redone on the Game Boy Advance, by the way. I don't think it goes under the name Lufia 2, but it's apparently the same exact kind of story. Speaking of story, let's just get right into it. Tia, are you home? Here's me, Johnny, with my red hair, going to the shop. We're in the town of Elcid, or Elkid, depends on how you name it, talking about all the jellies I just killed. Oh, gotta love those ridiculous obligatory RPG enemies, and you've got them in this game, that's for sure. Fighting jellies right off the bat. She's thinking about me getting a real job. A real job? What? Come on, I'm Johnny. I'm Johnny the Fighter. That's what I do. I couldn't be a shop owner like you. Me being insensitive? Psh, did you say something? Did you say something about my insensitivity? Because I'm a very sensitive person. I feel for those jellies when I kill them. I assure you of that. And then, yeah, let's talk to her again. She does run the shop in town. Shops where you can get items, weapon, armor, sell stuff. You start with 120 gold, so we can upgrade our weapon right away to a rapier. You really no reason to hold on to a lot of the stuff that you get, so you can sell it. Actually, later on, you can feed it to your monsters that you get to level them up and evolve them. That's right, I just cannot stay away from games that have monsters that evolve for some reason. But we'll get to that when we get there. It's probably going to be a couple more parts when I introduce that, but if you like Pokemon, there will be evolving monsters in this game, I assure you. Here's the magic shop. Everything here is pretty expensive. You got Strong, which is your cure magic, Spark, which is an offensive magic, and it's Poison, which is an antidote magic. It doesn't actually poison the enemy. So we're about to leave town here, and this old guy catches up with us, and he's going to be the obligatory old man that's going to teach us how to fight, and then you go through the tutorial. Here's our first look at the Overworld. Nothing much to see here. This is the only time you'll be going into this secret skill cave. So one thing you'll notice right away that's really cool about this game is that when you go into caverns and dungeons, you can see all the enemies that you're going to fight, which I love. Here's a look at the battle system. you hold the direction on the D-pad to choose different things. You've got magic, items, that's to defend, and that's for an IP ability, which is kind of hard to explain right now. I'll explain it more when we get them, but when you get hit, it's kind of like a limit in like Final Fantasy VII, if you will. When you get hit, it builds up, and if you have a certain item equipped, you can do an IP ability, which could be a really strong offensive move or something of that sort. Telling us all about monsters and so on and so forth, but I really like the fact that you can see monsters, because it cuts down on the random battles, but when you're in the overworld still, you do see the random battles do occur. So, but you need a place to level grind anyway, and this game can be pretty tough at times with having to be a pretty high level before you can move on. Right now he's going to give us our first skill, which is an arrow. An arrow is good for paralyzing enemies, as you'll see here. As you move it around, you get a number of items throughout the game, so then you paralyze them and come out and try to get them from behind, try to get in like a preemptive strike, or as they call it, got in first. But it didn't work out so well that time. You get a lot of these skills throughout the game, a lot like Legend of Zelda actually. You even get a bomb and a hook shot, just like Legend of Zelda. They work exactly the same. But you can also use them to solve small puzzles, like I shoot that switch there, the bridge appears. Pretty straightforward kind of stuff that you would assume. The puzzles get really hard later on in this game. That's the one thing I'm not looking forward to doing, is some of the puzzles, man, are they tough. You also have a sword that you can use at all times with the B button, and that's not used for attacking, just uncovering secret areas and and cutting down bushes to reveal pressure plates and such. This guy gives us the reset spell now, because you can only push items like that pillar there, you can't pull it. So if I would have wedged it into a corner, I would have had to restart the puzzle. So reset does exactly that. It resets the entire puzzle for you, so that you can try it again and again until you get it. And there are some infamous puzzles. Like I said, I got this game, this is my introduction to RPGs. I got this game when I was in 5th grade, and oh man, was it difficult at that time. Not that it's a particularly easy game now, but man, some of the puzzles caused me and my 5th grade friends so much trouble to get through, but we finally did it. Actually, the first time we beat this game, there was a glitch. Here's the lizard. There's the gotten first, and it's like preemptive strike. The first time we beat this game, one of the characters that you end the game with ended up getting a weird glitch when we started up the game one day. Oh, there's a level up too for you. Sorry to keep on breaking up my conversation I'm having here. But, so one of the characters you end the game with got a glitch, and its level got set to 0, and we're like, what's this? And the character was super high-powered, unable to kill him, and that was the way that we beat the game. I remember fighting the end boss. Everyone in the party was completely dead, except for this one character, and we totally just dominated it. And that's the story of the first time I ever beat an RPG. So, great story, right? Great story indeed. He's going to show us just a few more things left. He showed us there cutting down bushes to reveal like pressure plates, like I had mentioned. You can also hold the L and R buttons, which would be for a Super Nintendo controller, to stand in place and move yourself around in the different directions so you can throw stuff down, which is very useful for some of the puzzles later on, as you'll see. But that's just about going to do it for the tutorial cave here. He's going to say, oh, you finished your lesson, but you've only just begun. Many dungeons, many different things. Yeah, the beginning of this game, I'll admit, is kind of slow. It's just going from one dungeon, solve the problem there, move on to the next world. But it does start to pick up pretty fast after a while. And it's got a fun cast of characters, even though no one in the towns really gives you a lot of info on anything. But we'll go back to Tia. She wants to have dinner with me. I'd love to join you for dinner. That would be great. After all that jelly slaying, I could really go for a dinner right about now. Do the little dinner dance. Oh yeah, look at her go. Dinner dancing away. Oh, and we've got a gigantic fish, or whale. No, that's humongous. Ooh, it's a pot pie fish. Nice. But anyways, one thing that I do appreciate about this game is how quickly you move over the overworld and through caves. Your guy really moves fast. You don't even need to have a speed boot kind of item or anything in this game. You fly, which is very helpful, especially when we're trying to get through places really quickly. Lots of different areas to go through in dungeons too. Lots of branching paths. There's always like one secret item in every dungeon, and I'm gonna try to get them all. I'm gonna try to show you guys as complete of a playthrough as I can manage. But there are some things in this game that are just nearly impossible to do. This game does have that boss, well, not boss, but, well, technically a boss, but not an end boss, that is really overpowered strong, as most games do. You know, a lot of RPGs, they always have that one boss they have to go out of their way to find, and he's ridiculously hard. This game has one of those, and has one of the most difficult ones ever, I would say. But anyhow, we just had our delightful dinner with Tia, making our way back out to the town square here. Oh, here comes the red-haired man. Bad news? Oh, sounds like a job for Jonny the fighter. Hordes of monsters. Oh man. So here's your our first mission is to take out a bunch of monsters that have stolen the key to get to the next town over. And you know, there's only one fighter in the town, apparently, and that's me. And this is exactly why I'm not a shop owner. See, I don't need any more proof than that, as far as I'm concerned. Well, no, I don't. Yes, no one knows what to do. Only I can solve the problem. As he just very, very nicely tells me there. I also like having my name in all caps, so that way I can see when they're talking about me. If I do fly through the text a little bit more quickly. I'll try not to, though. So as soon as you go over this bridge, then you're able to fight people in the overworld. As you can see here, I ran into another jelly. We'll also run into some other monsters, including lizards, moths, and giant evil mushrooms. So evil. And here's the first cave. Cave to Subtleton, I guess that's how you pronounce it. Young woman went inside alone. I tried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen. She seemed different from other women. So, that's going to be it for now, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this first part. I hope it was slightly informative. Keep on watching. It's a really fun game. There will be evolving monsters in it. Anyhow, I'll see you next time. You guys have a great day.